Well, it's getting to be that time of year again. The days are getting shorter, so my lighting is not as good as I would like it to be. But bear with me, I bought a new camera stand the other day that has a light. So hopefully that will take care of that problem. We shall see. Today's topic is going to be 304s. The reason I brought this up is because someone made a video, a lady made a video about it, and she said the only men that have a problem with 304s are men who can't get sex. So I thought about that for a while, and I have to agree with her. I think her name is China, because I really don't have a problem with 304s. The only thing I have a problem with is when they try to play themselves off as good girls. And I'm not saying they're bad for what they do. That's not my point. My point is that when they try to act like they've only been with one man, two men, three men, or they pull the thing about, well, I've never done this before. And if you've been with a lot of women, you can see right through that crap. So to me, I see that as being very deceitful, dishonest. They really don't have to say anything. Why do they even... I suppose everyone wants other people to think they're better than what they feel like they are, or at least think they're their best. I've been with girls that had numerous partners, and it didn't bother me. I wasn't vetting them for a boyfriend, for a girlfriend, and I did not want to be their boyfriend. But you can tell if you have experience with women, you can tell if a woman has been promiscuous before she met you, just by how comfortable she is when you're with her. There are several signs that will reveal that. One is, does she just take her clothes off and jump in bed? Is she giving you the, what is it called, the enthusiastic yes? But that's what they say today you need to have before you can be with a woman if you're single, just to make sure that it's safe for you as a man. It's a really strange thing today, and I've spoken about this before, but back when I was younger, if a girl gave you an enthusiastic yes, that meant she was very promiscuous, and she's probably been with a lot of other men. The girls who didn't give you an enthusiastic yes, who actually put up a little resistance or maybe told you no many times before they finally allowed you to be with them, they were the good girls. They were the girls who didn't sleep around, who weren't just with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. No pun intended. That's the way it was. Any girl that gained respect from most of the men did not just sleep around with everybody. She didn't allow anybody to just undress her without her saying, oh, I think we need to wait, or I need a little more time, or I'm not ready for that, or maybe pushing your hand away if you tried to undo her bra or something like that. But nowadays, for a young man, it's very challenging, because if she says, well, if she doesn't even say no, let's just say she, how do I say, thwarts your advances? I'm not quite sure how to put it, but stops you as you progress. And you stop and you back off for a while and you come back and you try again. Nowadays, that could be considered, how would I say, being too aggressive or too assertive. It's just a very different world now. I believe if a woman says no and she means no, then by God, you need to stop. And if you have some experience, you know when a woman says no that she means no. But most guys don't have experience until they get experience. It's kind of like when you go to try to get a job and they say, well, we need someone with more experience. And you think, well, how in the hell am I going to get more experience if I don't get a job and get some experience? So it's the same thing. But as I said, with this Me Too law and this woke society and all these things, it's very difficult for young men. Or should I not say, I shouldn't say difficult, it's risky for them. Because if a girl gets angry at you, well, let me give you an example. Here's an example. My son was in school here. He's out now. But back when he was in school, there was a girl that liked him. He didn't like her, so he just ignored her. So she went to the principal. This is funny. She went to the principal and said that Claude was selling marijuana. That was back a few years ago when it wasn't quite as legal as it is now. And we were growing marijuana in the house, and I don't know what all she told him. Just some girl in school. Claude was in middle school. So they called the DFS. The DFS lady came up here and checked it out. I'm like, do you want to go downstairs and see if I'm growing pot in the basement? She said, oh, no, that's okay. Once she got here and met us, she realized what was going on. But that's what happened. On another occasion, my son, older son, this girl really wanted to be with him, and he had no way to get to where she was at. So his buddy had to take him. So he told her, said, well, if I'm coming down with my buddy, he's going to want to be with you also. So they both went down there, and then they drank or got high or whatever it was they did, and they were with the girl. Well, she had a boyfriend, and one of the guys, not my son, but the other guy was bragging about how they were with this girl. And of course that made her look bad. So she said that they raped her. Went to the police came here, or they called us. We had to go down there, or I had to take my son down there to make a statement. Fortunately, my son had the text conversations. They asked him for his phone. He gave them the phone. And the officer told us, he said, we asked for her phone, the girl in question, but her phone mysteriously came up missing in action, MIA, he said. So she wouldn't give them her phone, said she didn't have it, didn't know where it was. But my son had his phone, so he showed them my son gave the phone to them, and they went through it, and everything was cleared up because he saw the conversations where she was fine with all this. And so this is what happens. Even when they agree, and even when there's enthusiastic yes, which this girl did, later she came back and said that, that they forced her, which they didn't. So it could have caused a lot of problems had my son not had the phone. But that wasn't the end of that story. She told her dad, and her dad was like kind of a felon. He'd been in jail many times. He came up here one night. My shoulder was broke, so I couldn't do any damn thing about it. And I didn't think anything was going on, but actually I didn't know. I was upstairs. And he came up here and forced my son to call, or threatened my son, so he would call his buddy. And his buddy came over, and then they got in a fight out there. The father and his buddy, and the father busted my son's friend's teeth out. And my son's friend had a gun, and he tried to get it out, but they took it away from him. So that might end up with somebody dead here. Anyway, that guy went to jail, and unfortunately, I think he got cancer, and I think he passed away. And the mother, she's got it. He's in jail, but the mother of this girl, she died of cancer earlier. So I'm not blaming the girl. It's just she hasn't had much. She didn't have a good father figure. Her mom passed away. She's had a rough life, but these are the things that can happen to young men these days in this society of, so how can you avoid that? You just need to be very careful about who you go out with, what kind of family they come from. Although there's so many broken families now, you just really need to make sure that the girl you're dating and you're going out with her, even if you just have a one-night deal with her, you need to make sure she's got some stability and character. I know it's difficult, but that's the only way that you're going to be able to be safe. Otherwise, you need to keep it zipped up. Or make yourself into more of a valuable person where you can afford to go out of the country where they don't have these type of issues, where women are still more feminine and they don't think about pulling these things off. Like 50 years ago, you didn't hear anything about this. There was none of this stuff going on. So, I don't believe that anybody should take advantage of a woman, but on the other hand, I don't believe that women should take advantage of men and ruin their life. And they shouldn't be able to do it without any proof or just by their word. So be careful when you're dating. Try to vet the girl, and I would be very cautious of one-night stands unless you knew something about the girl. So that's all I have time for today. Hope that helped you. Have a great day. Talk to you later.